Right, so chapter 2 of the story is called Goeie Geselskap. This is the chapter where Gran arrives. Gran arrives at Luan's house. She drives a yellow Land Rover, which is a little bit mud splattered and looks quite out of place next to his dad's bright BMW and his mom's shiny black SUV. He gets called down to the sitting room or lounge by his dad, and he takes one look around his room because he knows he's not going to see it for a while. In his room, there's things that he doesn't really enjoy anymore because he last sort of took an interest in the stuff in his room when he was in grade 5. But just to recap, there's Transformers posters on his walls, and he's not really into the Transformers anymore. The duvet and the curtains in his room were chosen by his mom because it happened on a day when he didn't feel like going shopping with her, so it's not things that he's really attached to, the duvet and the curtains. There's also books that he's got on his bookshelf, which he's had for years, and he just read them years ago, and he doesn't really know what they're there for anymore because he doesn't read them anymore. And there's also a tennis racket and a hockey stick in the corner of the room, which he also doesn't use because those were in the days when he used to actually believe in school sport. Now he just prefers to chill with his friends and be on WhatsApp and Twitter. And that's pretty much that section. Yeah. Then he goes downstairs, and his family is all in the lounge. His mom and his dad, his sister, and his gran, and they're all looking very uncomfortable. And there's a nice description there. They compared to a bunch of dancers that are waiting around uncomfortably, waiting for the music to start. His gran is wearing denim pants and a light purple jersey. And she says that, here's my grandson, the troublemaker. She says, sure, but he's grown tall, but that's only because she hasn't seen him for just about ever. Then his mom says, offers his grand some tea, and Gran says, no, I don't want any tea, thanks. I slept over at a guest house, so I'm quite refreshed, and if we're ready to go, we can go. She also says that drinking tea reminds her too much of church bazaars and bazaar aunties and church meetings and praying. Then she quickly decides that she needs to go to the loo before they go. She says she's almost 70, and she often forgets that because she's a very sprightly old lady. But her bladder often reminds her that she's almost 70, so she goes to the loo quickly. While she's off at the loo, Luan sort of contemplates why his gran is so eccentric. She's a very eccentric old lady. And the first time he actually heard the word eccentric was when someone was talking about his gran. So he reckons there's a couple of reasons why his gran is eccentric. One of the things is that she's got bright red hair. One of the other things is that she always says exactly what she thinks, which is probably why she's not so popular with the family. She's also a professional photographer, and occasionally she takes photographs of people without their clothes on. But the strangest thing, and this is what he feels is the real reason why she's eccentric, is that, and it's a very strange thing, because for many years she was married to a minister, a dominee in a church. So then mom comes out again, and dad goes and sits in front of the TV looking at a blank screen. Gran comes back from the toilet, and she says, sure, that the atmosphere in this room is as thick as cheesecake. And she says, are you ready to go, Luan? He shrugs his shoulders, picks up his talk bag, which is already packed, and Gran looks at him with like her brown eyes, which are like very alive, and she's clearly not too sure about the whole situation. Then his dad says that he must behave himself when he's off with his gran. His mom gives him a hug, and he sort of wants to pull away because his mom wants to start crying. Christelle also seems a bit upset, and Gran can't really understand why there's all this emotional stuff happening, because she thought that they wanted to get rid of him and punish him. So anyway, they go out and get into the Land Rover. As she opens the passenger door for Luan, so he notices that there's a silver urn on the seat. He doesn't ask anything, but he picks it up and he puts it on his lap. And Luan's dad then says to the gran, what if you break down somewhere? Are you sure this Land Rover can make it? And she basically says to him, it's got nothing to do with you, and if we do break down, we can either catch a lift, or if we like, we can hitchhike. Pretty sure that someone will pick up an old granny with her grandson if we run into trouble. Dad wants to say something else, but then Mom quickly shuts him down with a look. And although Granny is like quite slim and small of stature, she climbs in quite comfortably behind the big steering wheel of the Land Rover and off they head. And then Luan just looks in the rearview mirror and he sees his family disappearing in a whole lot of diesel smoke. They haven't traveled very far when all of a sudden Gran slams on the brakes. My oma trap skillet, she slams on the brake. Before that, he's just looking at the things going past the window as they're driving along. So they go past the little park where he used to play as a kid, the sports fields, the cafe where they used to go for Sunday bread and to buy bread and milk, and the newspaper. And then as they get further out of the town, so they go past the factories and the nurseries and places where car wrecks are all piled on top of the other. Then she suddenly slams on the brakes and the gravel spits behind the Land Rover and it comes to a stop in front of a farm fence. And on the other side of the fence is a cow staring at them, wondering while she's busy chewing what's going on here. Then Gran says to him, look, now we're going to chat first. I don't really have to take you with me. I don't want to. If you're going to make trouble, then I'd prefer to take you back to your mom and dad. So if you're going to cause trouble, then just tell me now. So he kind of is not sure, but she says to him, look, you're 14, I'm 68, I'm too old for this. If you don't want to come with me, I'm not forcing you to. I'm not going to dwing you to do anything. Dwing is to force. And then his cheeks start to go red and he wants to get angry. But then he says, what's going to happen? He goes back home, his dad's going to keep him locked in his room. That's not going to be much fun. So eventually he sort of shrugs his shoulders and he says, yeah, no, fine, I'll behave. Gran's very happy. She offers him a jelly baby. He says, no thanks, I don't want a jelly baby. She has a red jelly baby. And then he suddenly realizes again that he's still holding this silver urn on his lap. And he notices his Gran sort of smiling, and she'd obviously seen what he's holding. And she says to him, that's your grandfather. And he almost drops the little silver urn from shock when he realizes that it's actually his grandfather's ashes that are in the spot on his lap. And the Gran just laughs and says, I hope you don't mind, but I brought him with. And up until this point in time, neither of you have been very good company or conversation. And that's chapter 2 in a nutshell. We'll probably do chapter 3 sometime towards the end of next week. Stay safe, have fun, cheers.